Welcome back to the OpenAI Associate Developer course. In this session, we're going to discuss the top P configuration property in the chat.completions.create call. This property is closely related to the temperature property and is often confused with it. However, the top P property provides a way to control and somewhat limit the availability of token sets the AI can use in its responses. So the top P, rather than adjusting the creativity of the AI's responses as the temperature property does, top P instead limits the AI's pool of token choices. This restriction is based on the probability mass of the tokens generated by the model. All this means is, there is a group of tokens, i.e. mass, and each token is more or less likely, i.e. the probability, to make sense in a typical sentence structure. Let's take a look at an example to explain it better. Imagine the AI is generating the next word in a sentence. Based on the context, there are many possible words it could choose. For instance, given the sentence fragment, Johnny was asking which, the next word could be way, which way did they go? Or it could be one, which one did she choose? Or it could be book, which book did he read? Each of these words has a different likelihood, i.e. probability, of being the next word in the sentence, this being based on the overall context. With the discussion of probability of choices, this is where top P comes in. If you set top P to 0.8, the AI will only consider the top 80% of the most likely next words. This means it will focus on a larger pool, i.e. mass, of probable and relevant choices. However, if you set top P to 0.2, the AI will only consider the top 20% of the most likely next words, making it even more focused and deterministic. Think of top P as a way to filter out less likely options, ensuring the AI picks from a smaller set of high-probability words. This helps you control how predictable or diverse the AI's responses are without making them too random. To better understand the impact of top P, let's compare it to temperature. Temperature adjusts how adventurous the AI is in its choices. Higher values lead to more creative and varied responses, while lower values make responses more predictable. However, top P limits the pool of words the AI can choose from, based on their probability. Higher values allow for more options, while lower values narrow it down to only the most likely choices. In practice, top P is great for fine-tuning responses to be relevant and contextually appropriate, especially when you need precise and focused answers. You should know that in practice, adjusting both the top P and temperature properties simultaneously can be complex, and OpenAI generally recommends using one or the other, but not both together. With our deeper understanding of the top P property, let's now go back to our code and see how to incorporate it into your OpenAI configuration object. To begin, we'll modify our defs file to incorporate the top P property into our configuration object. This property will help us control the relevance of the tokens the AI uses in its responses, this relevance being based on the token's probability values. For this exercise, we'll first remove the temperature property before adding the top P property. This will allow us to focus on the effects of the top P property without interference from the temperature settings. Now, let's add the top P property to our configuration object. We'll set it to a value of 0.8 to allow the AI to consider the top 80% of the most likely tokens when generating its responses. Quick side note, the term tokens is often used interchangeably with words and sometimes letters. While there are formal differences, for simplicity, we will use the terms interchangeably for now. However, in later lessons, we will cover the formal definition of tokens. For now, we will use tokens for emphasis, but we'll still use the term interchangeably with the term words. This is only to make explanation of other concepts more clear, without worrying about getting lost in the formality of the definition of the term tokens. Okay, back to our code. By setting top P to 0.8, we ensure that the AI will focus on a larger pool of probable and relevant choices when generating its responses. This helps us balance between creativity and relevance in the AI's output. Now, go ahead and compile and run your application to see the effects of the top P property in action. Observe how the AI's responses may vary in creativity and relevance compared to when we use the temperature property. Remember, you can experiment with different values for top P to fine-tune the responses to match your specific needs. Just keep in mind that the top p-value is a decimal between 0.0 and 1.0, which represents a percentage value of the token pool you want the AI to consider when generating its responses. The smaller the value, the smaller percentage of the token pool, i.e. mass, you'll allow the AI access to, and therefore, the more focused and deterministic the AI's responses will be. By understanding and utilizing the top P and temperature properties correctly, you can fine-tune the AI's responses to match your desired level of creativity, specificity, and predictability. Stay tuned for our upcoming lessons, where we will continue to dive deeper into the practical applications of these properties to enhance your AI-powered applications.